Ladies and gentlemen, have I got a treat for you tonight? We are at 3 Whiskey 5. This is an airport that has been added to the game by Orbx. Obviously, it's already there, but this is a high-detailed version of the airport and the city. The name of the city is Concrete, and that is located between Darrington and the famous Orcas Islands, as they say in the description. This airport literally is about 10 minutes north through the valley from Orcas. They've recreated both the airport and the surrounding community, including the, famous Portland concrete silos, and we'll take a look at those. The city school, and many other great details. They've also got, what's kind of cool is they have the work-in-progress hangars on this airport. You'll notice that a lot of this airport is grass strip taxiways. So let's go ahead and take a look at the airport, and we'll get started. Starting at the aircraft, I'm parked on, I think this is 2 here. If we go around the airport a little bit, you can see already just the level of detail is astounding. I love this. Look here. There's a bridge, a building that goes over the road here. I don't know. Maybe this is the school. That could be what they were talking about when they talked about the high detail school. So if you're from Concrete, Washington, or Concrete, or however I'm sure it's Concrete, you'll notice the buildings. Now, off in the background, that's not their fault. There is the Emerald City that Microsoft has put in, and it's happening all over this area. You can see those weird mountain extraneous data towers that unfortunately happen just down the street from this airport. The whole Pacific Northwest is littered with those things. I don't know what they've done, but it's gotten worse. So that's not the fault of the developer here that made the city. Look at all these are all custom buildings. This is what I love, stuff like this. These people really took their time, and that's what I love about Orbx. They always go into detail around the whole area around the airport. It's not just the airport. You can see there's the Portland concrete silo. We'll fly over to that, so I'll be right back. Now, it's not exactly the most high detailed model, but welcome to Concrete. That's awesome. And then you have right here, like looking down the street even over here, they've done a bunch of details. There's a Shell station with little trucks parked at it. Look at how little those trucks are because we're in the sky. And then it goes all the way along. There's all kinds of detailed buildings up there, like custom buildings. I mean, this is really cool. Once again, they did say, and I don't think I've said this yet, but they did say they've rerouted the traffic for this map. So you actually have the cars no longer drive onto the airport. They follow the roads that they've put in because the roads are different than what Microsoft had originally. So look at these houses with satellites on them. Like they have, obviously, out here, you probably would have to have satellite. That's your only internet. Once again, we have the school building with the pass-through underneath. I mean, just the details are excellent. And that is what I'm looking for when I look at these airports. And the great thing is, once again, this is the author that does this does all these airports. So he's done also done Darrington, and he's also done Orcas. And there's a third one that I don't have. I'm going to look into. I think it's called Anortes or Ancortes or something like that. Yeah, that must be the school. Must be the high school, and it's got the track, or junior high maybe. It's just a small town. I love it though. Absolutely love this. And the cool thing is we're about 50 miles north or less of Seattle, so we can fly from these airports to Seattle to do sightseeing. I have also bought the Seattle Scenery Pack, which is awesome. We'll go take a look at that in another video. But it's a lot of fun to fly back and forth between these little airports from here to Darrington and then Darrington to Orcas or vice versa. This airport's between the two of them. Now, Orcas is over that way. If you look up, see where that big puffy cloud is? Pretty much directly underneath that cloud is the Orcas Airport. It takes about 20 minutes to get there from here in a Cessna 152, maybe 25 minutes. It's not a fast flight. But anyway, you can see here on the airport's grounds, we have a couple Dodge. Oh, is that a Chevy? That's a Chevy. If you guys follow my Snow Runner series, that's a Chevy Bronco. No, it's a Blazer. Hang on. My dog's barking. All right, we have a little, sorry about that, I had a phone call. We had a little Service van. I saw a Cessna 172 take off. That was cool. He took off and flew to the right. He hasn't come back. But these are the taxiways. That's another interesting thing about this airport. And you'll notice, at first I'm like, are we supposed to taxi on the grass? Well, the answer is right here on this little sign. It says, aircraft taxiway, no vehicles allowed. Please keep off the grass. Ordinance 373. So, yes, these are actual taxiways. How about that setup right there? Wonder if the dude lives there. I'd like that, man. It'd be fun to live on a little airport like this, wouldn't it? Here we have hangars. Tell you what, the guys they have small airplanes. The guys that get their airplanes in and out of here, this is really tight. They probably push them by hand, I would imagine. But that'd be hard to push an airplane on grass. Once again, we have all the signs. Here we have somebody's camper, and there's other campers parked around. Oh, look at, is this a fuel? That's interesting. I wonder what that's all about. Like the muscle cars. This is car gas? I don't know. Interesting. If you know what that's about, let me know. Definitely like the COVID trailers here, disaster supplies. Just in case that Mount Rainier goes off and everybody to the south dies, they have some supplies here. And so we have also, just these cool hangars with different information on them. Wordless Airplane Corporation. Somebody's badge, like they like the company. And I'm not sure which building is the FBO. This is a hangar. Is that my airplane? I think that's mine. No, that's not. Windsouk. Fuel area over here. Obviously, there's our airplane. It was the same airplane. That's why I'm like, oh, look, same airplane. Okay, here we go. I was looking for the sign. I knew there was a cool welcome to Mears Field, Concrete, Washington. That's cool. So this must be the FBO right here. Field Base of Operations. Yeah, there they go. Mears Field. That's cool. It's even got like the Pilot's Lounge. Oh, that's the lounge. Okay. Well, that's usually that's part of the FBO. Over here we have hangars that are under construction. This is quite a lengthy tour, actually. I'm surprised. Like, there's a lot to see on these little airports. And that just shows you they've done a great job. Is that our van? It's hard to tell. The van and the airplane use the same sound. I think that's the van puttering around again. I wish Microsoft would fix that. But they've obviously got 2 more people building hangars here on the airport grounds. And that's neat. So these are the taxiways here. You could taxi on the grass. And you can see there's little ramps up to the runway right there. So that's your hold short line right there with the doubles, That's runway 25. And whatever the opposite runway is. And the neat thing here is notice the patches on the runway. I love that when you're coming in, like that's how runways really are, like when they're patched like that, like these small airport runways. So once again, Orcas is off that way. You can actually, I think this hump right here is the actual island, but maybe not. That could be part of this hill. But it's right out there. But it's a long flight. It's like a half an hour flight. So, but right around to the south here, you pass these monoliths and curve around in the valley, and Darrington's right over there. So you can fly back and forth, about a 10, 15-minute flight between here and Darrington. So if you get bored of flying patterns, you can always do flying back and forth through the canyon to get to Darrington. And it's really fun, and it's really neat to be able to do that. So there's the whole airport in perspective. We're going to skip the nighttime views. I've been doing those, but you know what? It's not really, I don't know. I don't think it's really necessary. They do light up nicely at night. All these airports are lit up nicely at night, so if you're coming in, you can find the airport. All right, guys, so let's go ahead, and we're going to take that Cessna 152 out. Look at the river. Wow, this is so beautiful here, except for those stupid monoliths. Let's get airborne. We'll fly. We'll do a pattern around the airport, and then we'll call it a review. But I really like this airport. I'm telling you, I love these little mountain airports. So let's get that done. I'll be back. All right, so we are in the aircraft. Let's go ahead and get this puppy started. Where's my parking brakes on? We're going to prime the engine, pop on our beacon and our strobe, put the alternators on, and then go ahead and start it up. everything should be set. Let's see if we can get it to start. Oh, you know what? Yeah, pretty help if I turn the fuel on. Why is my mixture out? There we go. Okay. Little rough start there. All right, we're going to go ahead and turn our taxi lights on, nav lights. We don't really need nav lights during the day, but whatever. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going. And pop the parking brake off. Now, I'm not going to do radio comms because they always interrupt what we're saying, and I don't really want to deal with that while we're trying to do a review. Bye, fellas. Oh, watch your heads. Okay. The realism is key. So the windsock's saying that we need to take off from the south, so let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and taxi along here. This is weird, but I mean, I suppose if you wanted to and you didn't want to taxi on the grass, you could go out onto the runway and taxi down the runway. Some airports do that where they taxi on the runway. But I think on this one, this is actually where you taxi. So you stay off the runway. And once again, I'll show you on the map. Don't knock those over. Where so if you look here, Darrington is just around the corner right here. Somewhere. Right there. There it is, 12S. Or 1S2, sorry. 1 Sierra 2. And we are at 3 Whiskey 5. So you come around here and you go right down to there, and so you just follow this valley basically, and it's right there. Orcas is a little further out at the tip of this island here. This weird looking island, that's Orcas is right there. So you can see it's quite a distance from there to there. But and then further to the south, we have Seattle right here. And then further down is the Tacoma Narrows Airport, which is also a high detail scenery airport that I've purchased. So with all of those, you have 4 airports. And I know there's another one. Like I said, I'm going to look for the one. I think it's in Canada, the one that they're talking about. But there's a couple nearby here, Canadian airports, because we are right on the border here. I mean, we're literally probably 5 minutes flight north. We're just south of Mount Baker, which is kind of like the end of America, of United States of America. It's not the end of North America, though. All right. The van's on the runway again. This guy putters out here occasionally. I didn't know he was going to be here, so now we're stuck until he leaves. So we'll just wait for a minute. Let's see what this idiot does. Why? You are the bane of my existence. So you can see here the runway is pretty short, but it's long enough that, yeah, Cessna 172 is comfy. You probably could get like a Piper Seminole or Beechcraft Baron off the ground because those aircraft have twin engines and they're pretty short takeoff with those double engines, so they would work pretty well. The Mooney Bravo would be a little bit of a tight landing on this runway because it's, like I said, we're looking here, we're just getting up to speed and there's the end of the runway. And we're off. You guys will be excited to know I'm actually attending ground school, and I have all the pilot handbooks now and stuff. My son paid for me to do it. He wants to do it himself. He wants to become a pilot. Doesn't mean I'm going to actually fly a real airplane. I'm a pretty fat guy. Like, I need to lose some weight before I try to get into one of these airplanes. I don't think I'll ever fly a 152 because even when I'm not fat, I'm tall. So the 152s are really, really small airplanes. But they do have 172s that we can rent. There's the airport or the town down there. And we're going to fly through the center of town. I'm not going to necessarily follow a pattern here because we're doing a tour, so I want you to kind of see the whole area. But look how nice this looks. This area is great looking, and I love that tower. That concrete tower. Just when I first loaded it airport, and I didn't know the concrete tower was there, and I was like, look at that silo. Like, that's like so cool. And that's definitely one of the details that they've added in, so I think that's pretty neat. We'll scooch around the other way so we can see the tower, the concrete tower from the air. There's the airport right there. We're going to figure 8 in. There's concrete. Once again, for those of you wondering what I'm running here, I am running a an i7 770K processor, older vintage Intel processor at this point. It's 5 years old. I got 32 gigabytes of RAM. I'm running off of a standard SSD, like laptop style SSD drive, not an NVMe or whatever they call them, the on the board ones. We're going to drop our flaps one stop and we'll start making our way around for landing. And I have a 2070 Super video card, but even when I was running my 1070, it ran fairly smoothly. The 2070 does help though, because I was running on medium to high graphics with the 20s or the 1070, and I can run everything on ultra with the 2070. So if you can get your hands on a 2070 cheap, right now is the time to do it, though I don't think they're cheap yet because the 3070s are still ridiculously priced because they're being scalped. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you this. We're going to swing by here real quick before I was going to get in the pattern, but we're not going to yet. We got a dam up here too. Now, I don't know that that was mentioned in the... I didn't see it in the liner notes for the DLC. But I would imagine they probably put this in here, but I don't know. We'll fly by that. I don't think if I was... I don't know that I would want to live here. That makes me really nervous. Like, would you want to live in a city with this, like, right over the top of it? I wouldn't. I don't know. Somebody's going to comment on here that lives here. I know that. I know it because, like, I always get at least one person from the area that's like, oh, I live there. Yeah, look at there's the dam. I think that's probably Microsoft scenery right there, but I don't know. They didn't mention it on the description, so I don't think they put that in there. I think that's probably, but still, yikes. I wouldn't want to live there, man. We are really loading up the wing. Went for that 60-degree angle there. I'm learning. Like, that could put the aircraft into a stall in real life if you were heavy enough. You could definitely stall the airplane by doing that. All right, so flaps back down again. Engine off. We got to descend now pretty quick because we're up high. There's our little airport, though. I love that. That's just so cool. Do you guys like that airport? I think it's neat. And our instructor said that with the 152, they tell people about 50 knots. So, boy, we did get down, didn't we? Wow. Didn't realize how quickly that happened. Would you like to stall your airplane? No. Get off the runway. That's the only thing I don't like is that van is always on the runway. He's always on getting in and out. But like I said, I have seen some other aircraft come in and land and take off from this airport, so traffic is active. I don't know if it's traffic that they've put in themselves or if it's something that, I'll tell you what, my landing speed was all over the place on this one. We are flirting with disaster. Great runway. Anyway, I'm super happy with this add-on. I think that it's definitely a high-quality add-on, and I'm glad to see it come in. And it's exciting to have an airport between Darrington and Orcas as a kind of a route stop. You know, pretty neat stuff. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I definitely had fun making it, and I think that this airport's definitely worth every cent. I think it was pretty cheap, too. Like, I think it might have been $7 or $9. It wasn't $12 total maybe with tax. Like, it just was not expensive. So I like these smaller airports. The big ones, they're cool, but they don't do much for me. I fly general aviation aircraft, and I like these little airports. I think they're where it's at for me anyway. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe, and we will see you for the next airport. I got several more to do. We've got a bunch of airports in Florida that I purchased, and a couple more airports. One that's in London. I got some scenery packs, Mexico, England coming. So we're going to take a look at all of those. Have a great night, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.